All right, let's get it, Jack. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right, turn up. What's up, y'all? Welcome to a brand new show. Familiar people, familiar places. We're going to get into it, man. It's your boy, Geraldine. It's Miss Neek. It's the homie, Big Dub. We're here for what we coined the fifth quarter, a brand new post-game show, talking about our New Orleans Saints 2020 season opened up this week with the Tampa Bay Buck. I'm messing up the name, man. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That don't matter.
Yeah. Tampa Bay Bucs, man, came down to the city in an empty Superdome due to COVID-19. You know, we send in our prayers and well wishes to everybody who's fighting, dealing with, and managing through this pandemic, as we all are. But the Dome was without any fans today, as a lot of NFL stadiums were. And yet we still had an iconic game because we had Tom Brady, the Hall of Famer, 6 rings himself, join a new team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, come into New Orleans and face our beloved New Orleans Saints led by Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, who got paid $75 million for 5 years. And homie came to the game. We're going to get into this in a minute, but homie got a brand new smile because he was blinged up. You know, I noticed during the game, and I like that. I'm proud of the homie. He deserved every penny that. I know some people are going to probably get at me for saying that, but, you know, he do his check. But we're here, man. We're here. We got the incredible Miss Neek, the phenomenal Big Dub, man. Y'all say what's up to the people. I ain't got to roam out the whole time.
What's poppin', y'all? It's your girl, Miss Neek. Avid Saints fan, known-ish talker on Facebook. So they threw me in the pot. So I'm going to see what I can contribute.
Well, finishing up this gumbo, it's your boy Big Dub, a.k.a. Vegas Sports Guy. If you want to talk about sports, want to argue with one of the best, you can argue with me. I do want to make sure that we get this podcast going and get it really, really live because I've been yelling in my backyard all day because I got some Bucs fans that live 2 houses down and they've been waving flags in my neighborhood. So I got to go outside and yell, "Who that?" one more time.
Just one more. I'm in LA down the street from the Rams facility, baby. That Saints flag be flying when it's game.
Definitely. 34-23. Saints on top of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. Hey, if you're a Saints fan, you loved it. If you're a Bucs fan, you're going to be concerned because you thought this thing would look a little bit better than probably what you saw today. But we'll get into it. Big Dub, give me some of your takeaways from today's game. I mean, obviously, marquee matchup, had the number 1 Fox team, covering the game. Everybody talking about it. A lot of NFL picks went the Bucs' way. Saints end up taking the first game. Give us your initial thoughts on what you saw today.
Tampa Bay gets Tom Brady. Everybody goes up in arms. Oh, my God, the Bucs are going to win the Super Bowl. Everybody thinks that Tom Brady is the key to success. Mm-hmm. It's a two-part equation to why New England was so successful going to 9 Super Bowls in 20 years, winning 6 of them. Part of it was Tom Brady. The other part was Bill Belichick. Granted, Tom Brady's going to bolster an already high-profile offense. Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. We'll omit the 30 interceptions, but I'll come back to that. 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. Yes, Brady's going to be able to make some things happen. You got Gronk coming in. You got O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. You've got Mike Evans. You've got Chris Godwin. Now you've got a 3-headed running back tandem with McCoy, Jones, and now you got Fournette. They've got a lot of weapons. But what people don't realize, they have no secondary and they have no offensive line. Tom Brady has not played with an offensive line that looks that bad. Now, when you play with an offensive line that looks that bad, what does it force you to do? Throw a ball a little bit faster than what you're expected to. That's why Jack Rabbit got a pick 6 today. That's why every time he tried to wait for Gronk to just make it to that next level, he didn't have time because the rush was there. We got 3 sacks on him. We got a pick 6. We blocked the field goal. Defense looks spectacular. The Bucs have a great offense. They got a great core. But if you cannot block for your quarterback, I'm not worried about it. I expected Brady to be in a body bag this week. He'll be in a body bag probably before midseason.
Oh, wow. Wow. Miss Neek, what you thought? What your feelings was?
Your boss thinks you're the best, his rock star sales rep, heir to his throne. But if you can't upload that massive presentation in time for his big meeting because you have...
Miss Neek, you got a commercial going on while you talking?
I have nothing going on while I'm talking. We're not going to run that. I think what stood out to me most was our defense. I was thoroughly impressed with our defense. Like, we got 2 interceptions on Brady, and yeah, he throwing a little bit faster, but we just in the right spots at the right time. We did a really, really, really good job on defense. I was excited about that. And then, once we gelled, we gelled. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looked kind of rough in the beginning, and Brady, he doing this thing. No, Brady's doing what Brady does without Belichick. And that was the conversation that we had, is the coaching. Like, you have to be big on coaching. Like, you're not just gonna go out and just say, I got all these weapons, now let's run. It's not gonna go that way. So right. I'm curious to see how Brady meshes out over the next couple of weeks. They got to gel, see what's going on, and then I'll make my judgment. But as far as the Saints, we look good. I'm proud of what we did today.
Okay. I wouldn't go too far to say that we look good. You can tell that there was a complete absence of a preseason game.
Right.
Alvin Kamara looked good, but he only had about 60 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas only had about 2 or 3 catches. Mike Evans didn't get his first catch until the 4th quarter. We did a great job of shutting him down. Breeze really, really tried to get Emmanuel Sanders in the offense. I'm glad that he tried. I'm glad that he was able to get him in the end zone because I got Emmanuel on my fantasy team. But we've gotta. You can tell that game reps are important. You can tell the lack of preseason is important, and how important preseason is to the development of being able to be in sync when the regular season starts. So honestly, you'll watch football today. You'll watch the Saints today. You'll see glimpses of greatness, but don't have lofty expectations for what they can and can't do up until about week 4. Because honestly, week 4, that's going to be the end of preseason, using air quotes.
Go ahead, Ms. Nick. Go ahead.
I hear what you're saying on that, but then we also can't deduce the fact that Tampa Bay has their defense is extremely fast. They get off the line so fast. So it's like you can't knock them. You still have to give them some kind of kudos for putting up the points that they put up. Now, what I was concerned about, he caught his rhythm, but Kamara was not getting many. I'm used to getting yards after contact, and he didn't get a lot of those today. So that was more or less like my big, but in open field, just man, he owned. So you kind of got to give it a little bit of both. And when I say we look good, it is considering the fact that we have not played a preseason game. We haven't, they haven't touched the field. They don't really do practices like they've been doing practices.
Right.
And we're in Zoom meetings. It's just a whole new world. So for all of that to happen and we still come out and put up the performance that we put up after a couple of stumbles, I'm good with that.
But that shows the difference between the team that's been together for the last 3-4 years and a team that's got a brand new quarterback trying to understand how to instill an offense. Watching the Saints game, you hear Troy Aikman talk a lot about they're running instances of the old Patriot system and they're running Arian system. So the guys, Evans and Godwin, Howard, they understand the Bucs system, but when you sprinkle in plays and formations that you're not used to running, that lack of practice and that lack of game experience running those plays, that's going to be different. Not taking anything with what the Saints did. To score 34 points, to basically be in sync the entire game and score when it mattered, that was huge. They didn't look dominant, but when they were in the red zone, they were effective. With the exception of the last drive of the game, when they overturned a touchdown when Kamara hit to the left sideline, they were perfect in the red zone.
Yeah.
They were perfect in the red zone. We had not one failed red zone opportunity. So that's big for us moving forward. What we need to work on is the little instances in between. And I think the more and more we play, facing a young, hungry Raider team that just beat the Panthers today, we'll be playing in not Oakland, in Las Vegas. I will be yelling to the top of my lungs in Las Vegas, but we'll see. It's gonna be another test.
That stadium was amazing, by the way.
Let me say this. I think you guys have definitely hit on a lot. I think that balance will lead to the next part of this conversation. And that is when we evaluate. I know we're talking Saints football. We're talking about the division, the NFC South. After today, the Saints are up on everybody one game, which is very good. The Falcons lost today. The Panthers lost today. Obviously, we took on the Bucs. And so when you start off week one with all of the difficulties that you guys brought up as it relates to the challenges of COVID, not having a preseason, unique practice environments, you couldn't ask for much better if you're a Saints fan. However, I think that boils well for teams improving during the year. And so it's going to be important that if you can start off fast, it'll build you a good cushion, because I think teams like the 49ers, who went down 0-1 today, right? You expect for them to be a little better moving forward. I think everybody can point to rust in week one and say, hey, if we were competitive, if it wasn't incredibly ugly, we got some things we can build on. We'll tackle better. We understand our chemistry better. It's nothing like facing someone else. I mean, these guys have been playing each other, for the past 4 or 5 weeks now. And so when you get an opportunity to go against somebody else in live contact, and as you said, Big Dub, as well as you, Ms. Neek, the lack of a preseason practice environment where you can actually take those live reps, it's important to have. We talk about Tom Brady. And, if you guys know me and know me well, you know that I love Tom Brady. You know that I love my Patriots, right? And I'm not making excuses for him. I'm a Saints fan first. I've always been a Saints fan first. But today the Saints were supposed to win. They were supposed to win today's game. When you look at a team that has been knocking on the doorstep, the continuity is there. The coaching staff has been there for 15 seasons now. The quarterback coach combination has been there in place for 15 seasons now. The Saints added quality free agents, had a strong draft. They've been doing that since Jeff Ireland has came into the program. The Saints were supposed to get this one today. They're at home. Now, at home without any fans, you can take it for what it's worth. But if you're going to get a Tom Brady and the Bucs, and I expect for them to improve a bit. I think everything that you said, Dub, is absolutely accurate. If you have kryptonite for a guy like Tom Brady, and basically almost any quarterback that doesn't have mobility, if you're not talking about a Patrick Mahomes or that kid in Baltimore, you're going to have a solid offensive line for those guys, right? And so 43 years old, he's a statue behind that offensive line. It could be a very long season if they don't figure out how to make sure that their plays hit much faster and you have a strong running game to support Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. You could question whether or not, and I don't want to wish injury on anyone, and we'll move around the NFC South. We'll talk about Teddy Bridgewater, and if you guys got a chance to kind of watch him play a little bit and check on him, we'll talk about the Falcons as well, because if you're a Saints fan, you care about the entire NFC South. But Brady, I'm a little concerned. I don't know if Brady will finish the season behind that kind of offensive line. They didn't look cohesive. They didn't look well today at all.
No, not at all. Cam Jordan was able to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
The defensive line was able to get pressure. The Saints do not have a stout front four, solid linebacking core led by DeMario Davis. It's not the fastest, but they do a good job. Dennis Allen does a great job of moving pieces, putting Marcus Davenport in certain spots, switching Cam Jordan from left to right, even sliding him in at nose a couple times, being able to find those mismatches and being able to take advantage of weaknesses. Tampa Bay started a rookie right tackle. They took advantage of that. They sent Jordan at him a couple times. He was able to win the matchup. It's all about playing that chess game and being able to beat your opponent. And we were able to do that from the point of attack. That's where the football game was won. Yes, Tampa Bay does have a fast front seven. Their front four is very fierce. JPP and Ndamukong Suh, their linebackers are fast. They have a weak secondary. Now, if our offensive line, which is one of the top 5 best in the NFL can slow them down, which we did a great job of. That allows Brees, who had the fastest release point from catching the snap to throwing the ball in the NFL, that gives him time to just make those pinpoint passes. A little bit off today, but once we get back in the swing of things, I think he'll pick up right where he left off last season.
I agree. You guys talked about Alvin Kamara. I wanted to kind of chime in on that as well. Also talk about our receiving corps and what alarmed me. Kind of the same thing that I saw last year that was kind of alarming, and I kind of saw the replay of that. Didn't expect it with Emmanuel Sanders. I thought that he would come right in and do what Lance Moore did for Drew Brees, which was find those soft spots in the zone and also make sure that you can beat man press. The Saints had a problem with that. We saw, obviously the tight end, Cook, he have a really big game. There were times when obviously we tried to check the ball down and get Alvin Kamara involved in some of the screen packages and get in the ball quickly. And Tampa Bay kind of sniffed that out when they saw it coming. It was kind of predictable that the Saints were going there. And being someone that's watched Sean Payton's play calling for a while he is a phenomenal genius at what he does, it does frustrate me sometimes with some of the play calling. And there were reasons for concern. We put up 34 points. The Saints blocked a kick. It was a pick six. Big W talked about that. But there's lots of room for improvement. And as we spoke about with not having a preseason, it'll be important. And you'll see the Saints sharpen their blade going forward. Here's a question I got to both of you. I spoke about Alvin Kamara, $75 million contract. Now, I was being nice. I was being nice starting the show. Honestly, if you really press me to say, do you pay Alvin Kamara $75 million? Do you give him the elite back money? He's earned it. Let me say that first. He's earned the money. He's been in Pro Bowls, every year of his career since he's been in the NFL. Last year, he played through some tough injuries, ended up being a Pro Bowl alternate, still got in. He's been an explosive part of our packaging, and, I'm glad to have him. But the type of back he is, in my opinion, that's a luxury. And with a team that'll have a lot of other cap questions moving forward, I didn't know if 75 mil on a running back was something that I was willing to do. Glad he's here, I'm not hating on it. But when you look at him compared to his rookie year, and they always tell these guys to put on the weight, and I understand you want to, have as long of a career as possible. He just looks a little big to me for his size and, for his ability that we saw coming out of Tennessee. He just looks like he's carrying a little bit too much weight, in my opinion. And so I don't know what that'll in turn do for his injury predictions going forward or forecasting going forward. But for me, Alvin Kamara looks a little bit too big. And I know that he purposely put on the weight. This is not a Zion Williamson issue where a guy who is not working out and doesn't understand that you have to be a professional. I mean, I'm taking a shot at Zion, but he's got to grow up. I know Big Dog probably say, Jay, stay away from that. But that's just what I feel. If not, and look, trade his ass. I'm saying it now. Get him out of here. But at the end of the day, Alvin Kamara is bigger for a whole different reason, right? And so I want both of you guys to kind of chime in on his performance, the $75 million contract. Do you think he might be a little bit overweight? Could he shed maybe 10 of those pounds and be a little niftier, maybe a little faster, and maybe perform on, I know the guy had 2 touchdowns. He should have had 3. I'm asking a lot, but what y'all think?
Well, I mean, the 75 mil is a lot, but what were we going to do? What was our alternative? Like, we had to pay him. We couldn't afford to lose him this season. That just wouldn't have been smart in the front office. So we had to do it. And I don't know if there was any wiggle room on the cost. Like, can we negotiate this price? Take 5 off, 10 maybe? No. But I mean, as far as paying him, we had to. I didn't. In my mind, I didn't think that there was any question on whether we were going to pay him or not. Like when we were talking during the off season, it was like that's just stupid. What are we going to do if we don't pay him? So I'm good with that. But I mean, as far as the money, we'll have to see. And his weight for me, I felt okay about it coming into the game because of the injuries he sustained last season. I thought maybe, you put that weight on you, you got a little bit more cushion. You can kind of keep yourself a little more sturdy. But for me, I don't know if he's just not nimble as he used to be because he's not accustomed to the weight, but he's not slipping through defenders' fingers like he used to in his rookie season. So, I mean, I don't think he's that much overweight where it's just like super noticeable and, so he probably can shed it throughout the season if need be, but yeah, I think it still remains to be seen. It's really early in the season. Like for us this is first game. Like there's no way to really tell in my opinion.
Dub.
When you take a hit, you feel something. You take a hit from somebody that's 5'10", 245, runs a 4.5 40. You feel something. Pads or no pads, you feel something. So he's getting hit by guys starting off at that size, and then they're getting bigger. They're 6'3", 260. They're 6'4", 275. You're getting hit. You're taking hits from that kind of size. We're paying him $75 million over 5 years. It's a lot of money invested. The last 2 seasons, he dealt with a lot of injuries because he was smaller. His body couldn't take that punishment. So being able to take that punishment, sometimes you have to add 10, 15 pounds of muscle. I don't think it affects his speed. I don't think it affects his quickness. I don't think it affects his ability to be able to make moves and to still be a dominant runner, a great uphill runner as he always is. And you saw that with the screen pass there through where he scored his first touchdown. He catches the screen. He looks for daylight, sees the angle, cuts and hard cuts and sprints before anybody can even make a move. On this touchdown run in the first quarter, you saw the same type of movement. One cut, bang, and he threw the hole. He's still fast. He's still elusive. I don't need him to be Barry Sanders fast. I need him to get through the hole. But what we don't need to lose sight of is since Sean Payton's been a coach of the Saints, it's always been a two-headed monster tandem at running back. It's been Pierre Thomas and Reggie Bush. Now it's been Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. Now it's Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. When Kamara was hurt, Latavius Murray was averaging 95 yards a game. He had 200-yard games when Kamara missed 4 games last season. Now, you look at it today, tough day. Latavius had 48 yards on 15 carries. We blow that number up based off of the lack of practice. That's a 100-yard game.
Okay.
That's a 100-yard game. And Latavius was getting better the later the game was going. He was able to go in the middle of the trenches, fight for those key yards. That's the kind of back that we need. That's the 1-2 punch that we need. We want Kamara to be the Bush. We want him to be able to make plays in space, catch the ball out of the backfield, run off the zone, off the edge. We don't need him running up the tackles. That's why we got Latavius Murray. We let him collect the $75 million. Glad the guy's still there. I don't believe I'm saying this, but I actually would have preferred Mark Ingram being in this role, but Mark Ingram wanted to be greedy and ended up getting the same money Latavius Murray has. So now we got to roll the dice. Latavius is going to be fine. We have to take advantage of what we got, make it happen, and utilize both backs for their strengths and not put them in a position to fail.
I think that's excellent points. We do have some YouTube engagement, and we were live on Spreaker. We had some technical difficulties, so we'll do something different there. We'll make sure that is good. But we definitely want to bring in Chuck, Phil, salute you guys for checking us out tonight and checking out the fifth quarter, our New Orleans Saints post-game show, brought to you by Sports Talk NOLA, Love Sports Hip Hop, featuring your homie Jolene, Miss Neek, and the big homie, man, Big Dub. Listen,
you didn't drop links.
I didn't drop links. What you mean? We're on YouTube. That's the only place we're at right now. YouTube. That's all we're at right now. We're on Sports Talk NOLA on YouTube right now, everybody. And we'll fix it. We'll make sure that we're ready to go live with Spreak and all that cute stuff next week. But let me say this. And Miss Neek, if you have the links, I definitely will yield. You can throw them out of there.
I'll get it in.
Okay, no problem. Look, you got Marshawn Lattimore. His deal will be approaching us. You've got some offensive linemen that you probably will need to shore up. I don't know if we're going to consider Jameis Winston after Breeze retires. there are a lot of things we're forecasting, and all of these things won't be answered tonight. There's no possible way. I think if Drew Brees and the Saints win the Super Bowl this year, then yes, he will walk away. I do think there's a part of Drew Brees that wants to play in front of the city that embraced him so much. And so because this is a unique circumstance, depending on how many games Saints fans are actually allowed in the Dome and what happens there, it wouldn't shock me to see Drew Brees come back another season. And so when we talk about money and we look at the running back position, and I hear you, Miss Neek, you're right. I hear you, Doug. And I know, I get it. You're in a no-win spot. It's not that the guy didn't deserve it. He outperformed his old contract. You had to give him the contract. I'm just not big on giving a running back that kind of money in this market. Very rare would I even agree to entertain that. But hey, if the Saints win the Super Bowl this year or next year, it'll all be worth it. As it relates to his weight, I guess I'll maybe go a little further here. I agree. I think that he needed to put on the weight, and I kind of saw him come into last season, bigger than he was his rookie year. And I thought that actually may have also contributed to injury, because sometimes when an athlete is not naturally big in that way, carrying that extra weight can do something for the hips, the joints, the knees, the ankles. Those things are affected. Injuries that you may not have had, during your playing career prior to becoming a professional, you now have those issues. So we'll keep a watch on it. I think that you brought up a great point. When you look at Latavius Murray and Kamara as a combination, if you make them one back, are you satisfied with today's performance? Absolutely. When you take into consideration everything that we talked about as it relates to not having any legitimate practice against a different team, any preseason, would you take this? Absolutely. So hey, I guess we're nitpicking, or I'm nitpicking about his contract. We'll see going forward what that does if the Saints can continue to sustain these deals that they're giving the players that they're offering. We got Michael Thomas, who, from what one of our listeners is telling us, he's being picked on by local radio. Let me say this right now. I'm not going to do much to address local radio because I don't really have, and I mean this in a nice way, I don't have a lot of respect for local radio's performance, not the people. The people are something different than a performance. I don't really enjoy listening to the post-game show that airs after Saints games. I find it to be rather predictable and unintelligent, if I'm going to be honest about it. And so I think that the people that we have here, Gifted, Miss Neek, Big Dub, who I think is, and I've been trying to get Big Dub, and I'm so happy he agreed to do this show with us. I think he's phenomenal. He's incredibly knowledgeable about multiple sports. So he's going to bring a very poised and very balanced perspective to everything. Gifted has a phenomenal understanding of the game that she doesn't even want to embrace yet. And so I'm happy to have her a part of it, giving the female audience a voice. And so if you want to talk to us, you want to come in and you want to exchange your opinion, we don't know it all. We'll never profess, to know everything. We are on YouTube. The channel is Sports Talk NOLA. This is our first week. We're going to grow and get better as the weeks go forward. But come on in, comment. We have a few comments that we have already taken place. And if you don't mind, Miss Neek, could you kind of throw a few comments in, Big Dub? I'd like for you to respond to a few of these comments as they're coming in. Miss Neek, go ahead on.
Before we get to that comment, I got to get on you for a second because
talk to me.
Because I've been stewing on it, and you want to get sentimental and want to bring everybody else in. Now you talked about Kamara's contract.
All right.
First of all, we've been paying Breeze an exorbitant amount of money for the last 8-9 years.
Okay.
Part of the reason why we were 7-9 in 3 seasons back to back was because we were worried about paying big. The one thing I do respect about your favorite guy, TB12, was the fact that he took pay cuts in order to help benefit the roster. So they could sign key cornerbacks, sign offensive linemen, re-sign tight ends, sign receivers. He did that for the team. Drew was doing too much. Pay Kamara. We need to make sure that our future is still intact. When we went 7-9, we had no dynamic running back. We had a power back in Ingram. We tried to splice in Darren Sproles, who I love to death, but he was past his prime. And we didn't have that dynamic. Getting Kamara, he transforms the offense, brings it back to that 2009 Super Bowl year form. We make the playoffs 3 years in a row.
Okay.
So the man deserves his money.
Okay. I definitely think he deserves his money, and I'm a free market guy and a guy that embraces getting what you deserve. But I've people who know me know I'm an AFC Patriots fan. That is true, and their motto is we do business, and doing business in the way that the NFL currently has it structured with a salary cap. If we want to be competitive and we want to continue to be competitive for an extended period of time, then yes, we need player buy-in. We need players to be willing to take a pay cut if we deem as an organization that you should take a pay cut. Now, if the New Orleans Saints, if you believe in a free market, and I think you won't argue this point, Drew Brees, since he's been with the Saints, has been a top 4, top 3, top 5 in some seasons quarterback. I think that is a universal yay, that we could agree to that. So when you think about the position that Drew Brees plays and the amount of money that the Saints have paid him, they were supposed to pay Drew Brees the amount of money that he took, right? If the organization is going to pay him and they wanted to keep him and that was what he negotiated, then I had no problem with Drew Brees making the money that he should have made, because what we did not mention when the Saints were going 7-9 is when you look at the draft and how the Saints draft and some of the free agent busts that they brought in during that time in which we were 7-9, as well as the effect of Bounty Gate and how, I call it BS Gate, how that affected the team. Then when you mix all of that in there, right? It's not just that Drew Brees didn't take a pay cut, because we do know that last season, Drew Brees had a more substantial offer to join 2 other teams, chose not to. And that's not me defending Drew Brees or being a Drew Brees fan, because, while I like Drew Brees ain't paying me to defend him. I'm just a person that believes that at the running back position, when you look at it, if he wants to get paid that money, great. Find it somewhere else. This is what I do. Let me give you an idea, big dog. I saw a guy on a much friendlier contract get picked with the last pick in the first round. He's from LSU. He played at Catholic right here in Louisiana. And you can call it being a homer, but I thought that Clyde Edwards-Helaire would fit beautiful in the Saints offense. And I felt like he could do a lot of the same things that Alvin Kamara can do. And when you look at the Saints offense, it's about who we want to feed. It's a system where at times players can be overvalued. In Drew Brees, there's a lot of different ways we can go with this. But players can be overvalued due to how much they're featured in the offense and force-fed the ball in positions that the offense can put them in. That's why some people who argue against Drew Brees being in the top 100 of all time said, look at the offense, look at the dome, look at the attempts. We kind of could sniff through all of that and really kind of can evaluate you for what you really are. So I'm not knocking Kamara. That's not knocking him. It's not even saying he don't deserve his money. My conversation is being a fan of the Patriots and watching them do what they've done for over the last 20 years, Tom Brady being the 9 Super Bowls, right? There's a formula. Darrelle Revis comes in. He helps us win a Super Bowl along with the guy that's in jail now, Browner. Okay? The very next year, they want more money. We're not doing it. Go. Those guys move on. I think Revis actually plays 1 more year, maybe 2 more with the Jets, and then retires. Browner comes into the Saints and looks like trash, right? And the Patriots continue. They won another Super Bowl after those guys left, right? So for me, I'm greedy. I do business with these guys, not falling in love with them, but understanding the market. And if you're telling me which one is easier to replace, and I'm going to let you respond and then we'll get to everybody else. Can I replace a running back and a production from a running back, or can I replace a Hall of Fame quarterback in this system? Which one would you prefer to have, or which one would you prefer to have the money? And I think most people would say, give me that quarterback that I know that's going to Canton as soon as he hang up his cleats, over the running back who, if he had 5 or 6 good years in the league, then you got as much as you can get out of that guy. Your rebuttal.
I actually was gonna start and just say, I was just gonna say, you know what, kill it. Just go to the comments, because there's no way in God's green earth you compared Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and there's no disrespect to him, to Alvin Kamara. They're not the same running back.
Oh my God! Don't make me sit up like this in this chair. Don't make me sit up like this in this chair.
They're not the same running back. They're not the same running back. And if you honestly think Edwards-Helaire and Kamara are the same running back, sir, you have not watched football.
Oh
I was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama in November when number 1 LSU traveled to face number 2 Alabama. And I watched Edwards-Helaire. Edwards-Helaire reminded me honestly of a little bit of a Zeke Elliott. He reminded me of Zeke. He's got power. He's got unrated speed, and he's got a one cut, but he's not as shifty as Kamara. There's probably about 2 or 3 running backs in the NFL right now that have that cutting ability of an Alvin Kamara. And Edwards-Helaire is not that guy. Edwards-Helaire would be a great complementary piece to what we bring in for Alvin Kamara. I get it. I also get exactly what you're saying about paying a Hall of Fame quarterback. But my thought process behind my statement was I've seen quarterbacks take team-friendly deals, take cap-friendly deals. When was Drew going to take a cap-friendly deal to help the team out? We went 7-9, yes, Bounty Gate and all this other stuff. But if there's an opportunity for us to bring in more pieces, more valuable pieces, instead of having to circumvent because we got to do it the cheaper route, why can't the quarterback say, you know what? I'm all about winning too. And if we got to win, that means I got to take probably about $8 or $9 million less, or you put it in the back end or flip it, however they do with the contracts, make that work. But going back to that again, don't you ever open your mouth and say Clyde Edwards-Helaire is just as good as Alvin Kamara, not even, or maybe the same player.
Did you watch the season start?
The Jordans too much.
Did you watch the season start, sir? Did you see the first game of the season this year, sir?
Excuse me?
Did you see the opening game of the season, sir?
First of all, Houston is terrible. So we can't.
So we're gonna. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna quantify the defense he played against, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many yards did he rush for in that game?
Buck 35 on 21 carries. And J.J. Watt is J.J. Watt, and that's the name of the Texans defense.
Okay. You said how many yards? How many yards did he rush for?
Buck 35 on 21 carries.
And did he score?
Yeah, he scored.
Yeah. Did he look like right now, after week 1, a contender for Rookie of the Year? Don't do that. Even that dog trying to give you common sense. He got up on and said, look, don't mess up. The dog said, look, let me tell you how to deal with this. You messing up right now. Don't let me say your ass. Let me go and give you a kiss.
Let me tell you something, Daddy. Hold on. Hey, listen, don't do that.
Now, go ahead, Neek.
Bring in some comments because y'all going at it right now.
This is good.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So shout out to Charles, shout out to Philip. They're all in the Chuck is in the comments. That's Chuck, right?
Yes.
Hey, so again, Chuck just said that he was checking out the Bobby Hebert show. And they're talking down against Thomas and the wide receiver 10, which I think that's Smith, ain't it?
Yes, it is him.
Yeah, number 10. How do y'all
Smith
performance today?
I mean, Michael Thomas is Michael Thomas. I'm not going to disrespect. I think he's the best receiver in the game. The Smith kid has been a disappointment since he's been in black and gold. And, I like this because it's like Stephen A. and that other kid that's on the network with that other. Y'all get what I'm saying? Look, the Saints have not drafted well at times. No team drafts perfect, right? And it looks like that kid is a mistake right now in this particular system that he's playing in right now. He does not look well. He has not performed to the level to which the Saints would have hoped that he performed. Not only him, Marcus Williams. He continues to be an idiot. He was an idiot his rookie year when he blew an opportunity for the Saints to play in an NFC title game. And it was Tom Benson's last season watching his New Orleans Saints. He blew it. Right? And so, he caught an interception the day off Brady, and great. But then he comes right back and he has a terrible pass interference play. So for whatever he does right, he comes back and does something moronic. And so, hey, Thomas, I'm not even going to address that. That's why I say I don't really want to get into Bobby Hebert even though he played the game, I think he's an idiot. I do. I don't know him personally, but I think that Bobby Hebert is an idiot. I don't really respect a lot of what he talks about. He's never really had a productive opinion about any other quarterback that played for the Saints outside of Drew Brees because he has to. I think WWL walked him into the job after Buddy passed because they thought that the next guy should kind of have an accent that sounded like a Cajun and that would work in this market. I don't really respect the guy. I don't. He had an opportunity with the Saints to at least appear in one Super Bowl. The Saints were awarded the greatest linebacking core of all time. We all grew up together during the same time. The Saints should have probably made at least one NFC title game, in the 90s. And we didn't do it because Bobby Hebert and Carl Smith choked it away, right? So I don't really, when he doesn't own that and he wants to talk about it, Aaron Brooks, who did win a playoff game and he was a fourth round pick, and we didn't expect it in a year where we lost Jeff Blake, who was the man. I ain't got time for Bobby Abel. I don't respect Bobby Abel at all. I heard him on Atlanta radio. He would talk bad about the Saints when he was there. He's running game, and for all those occasions that fall for that, let him fall for it. That's why we're going to grow, and we'll be there. But, I don't really respect his opinion. Big dog.
I'm torn. Bobby Hebert, fellow Northwestern State University alum. I rock with him there, but that's where it stops. Because when you put on red and black, I can't root for you anymore. Like, people still love Joe Horn in the city. Not me. Not me. If you take that last check, because Atlanta does it all the time. They did it with Morton Anderson. They did it with Hebert. They did it with Joe Horn. If you go to Atlanta just to chase that last check, I lose respect for you. I do. I do. You can stay there. You can stay in Buckhead. Hopefully you get robbed in College Park. Just yeah, I said it. I said it. You can stay there. Honestly, their comments about the team, it can't be one-sided, and that's the way that local media is going to be. They're either going to be all on board or they're going to be totally destructive. And out in New Orleans, that's the way that the local media is going to perceive things with the team. If they're not feeling that things are going to be right, then they're going to blow it up. Expectations are lofty. The kid had 149 catches last season. The reason why he had 149 catches last season because we had no other people to throw the ball to. Nobody else. You can throw the ball to Kamara. They got two linebackers guarding Kamara. Jared Cook was in and out. Traquan Smith, he was a 6th-round draft pick. Lofty expectations. He wasn't supposed to be where he was. He was supposed to be a complimentary piece, kind of what Willie Snead was when Willie Snead first came to the team, like Kenny Stills when Kenny Stills first came. Complimentary piece, running third receiver, running that slot, coming in on a 4 or 5 receiver set, just helping to expand the offense. But you got Brandon Coleman, who was a bust, terrible draft pick, supposed to be the next Marcus Colston, didn't pan out. All these receivers that we brought in didn't pan out. We had Des Bryant come in. Des Bryant gets hurt. We're thinking about bringing in Brandon Marshall. That doesn't work out. So we're doing all these experiments. Nothing's working, but somehow, some way, we still got to throw the ball. And no defense figured out the only way we can beat the Saints is by stopping Michael Thomas. So we won today, and Michael Thomas was not the number 1 receiver. What I do like what Breeze is really trying to focus on is getting Emmanuel Sanders immersed in the offense. He's really giving him touches. And once he gets those touches, it's going to be big. That's why I drafted him in my fantasy. I just wanted to let you know that this first show is going to be slightly dedicated to my fantasy, and I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to start throwing the smidget of my fantasy anywhere. So I'm happy Emmanuel Sanders was able to get in the end zone, and I'm going to scream that out as soon as this podcast is over with.
Good.
So Chuck chimes in and says the Saints D will, if they stay healthy, will bring them to the playoffs. We got 2 picks today. We held Evans. We damn near shut him down. So how do y'all feel about the defense? Because we haven't even really talked about the defense today.
Solid performance. Solid. I think when we bring into consideration everything that we discussed, again, we're in a unique environment with the pandemic that is going on. You had no preseason. I think defense is usually always going to be ahead of the offense. And that's why when you see a standout offensive performance early, it bodes well for the future of that particular player. And so when you look at Cook's performance today, who stood out on offense, and in my opinion, I understood that Kamara had the 2 touchdowns, but, I look at that more as play calling. I thought that the 46-yard play from Breeze to Cook really is the play that won the game because for all intents and purposes, the offense kind of staled out and Brady and the Bucs were pushing. And, we saw what Brady did to the Falcons in the Super Bowl as a member of the Patriots. And so I'm thinking, okay, what we have on the board is not enough. Like, we need to continue to keep playing. And that was a big play. And so defensively, I felt like we're stout against the run. I felt that we had a few tic-tac pass interference calls that probably, in my opinion, arguably should not have been called. I think the one on Marcus Williams was legit. I do think that was a legit one. But I'm not mad at the defense. I think the defense, we've seen bad defense in New Orleans. And, Big Doug talked about 7-9, but football is a team game. It's probably the most team-oriented game in all the sports. Special teams, defense, offense, all those things have to be clicking for you to be a really good team. And at certain times during Sean Payton's tenure, whether it was the field goal kicker, special teams not performing at the level that it should, the defense definitely not performing at the level that it should, we didn't have a liability today. And I think that if that's what the takeaway is, I'm good with that you don't look at this game and say, okay, defensively, do it seem, like we could be embarrassing this season? Because we've seen embarrassing, and they were not embarrassing. So if that's the level that I'm kind of grading upon, I'm good. And I'm not dissing them. I'm patient. I'm patient to kind of wait for 4 weeks to kind of roll by. And then after 4 weeks, kind of give my opinion on where we are totally as a ball club. But I'm not alarmed, so I guess that's my grade right now. If I had to grade the Saints defense, B-, C+ today, I'm not alarmed. And that's a good thing because under Sean Payton, with the Saints in defense, I've been alarmed. Big Dub.
B-, C+.
Yeah.
B-, C+. Did you think Janoris Jenkins was going to pick off Brady as well as he picked off Brady? He baited Brady like Brady was Daniel Jones from the Giants.
Great play.
He looked great. Do you know that Tom Brady's on pace to throw as many picks as James Winston did last season?
Yep. We had
after week 1?
Yeah.
No, don't do this. Don't do this. Please don't do this.
Listen,
don't do this.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen.
All right, so why are we talking like that then? Don't do this.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen. All I'm telling you is based off of pace.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
Based off of pace, he's on pace to match the LASIK.
Let me ask you a question. How much money you going to put on match James Winston?
Look. Don't get mad at me.
How much money you want to put on that?
Listen, you can sit out here and sign Jeff and Ghost Ride for Tom Brady.
That's my dog. He got 6 rings. He got 6 of them things. I'm not going to disrespect Tom Brady on this show today. Tom Brady got 6 rings, man.
Don't disrespect him. That's a fact.
That's not a fact. That's a Trump fact. That's a Trump fact. That's not a real fact.
That's
kind of like Donald Trump.
No, at this point in time, right now,
he's under control. That's what that sounds like.
You know what? I gotta hit him with this one. Your wife's a teacher, isn't she, Jay?
Absolutely.
Okay, first of all, she knows pace. She knows math. That girl is smart.
Absolutely.
After this podcast, the first thing she's gonna tell you is, baby, you know he was wrong.
Mm-mm.
You know he was wrong. The boy threw 2 picks. He got 15 more games.
The
only way,
listen, you can't get mad at the numbers. That's his average, bro. And for a minute, he was on pace to do worse than Winston did.
This is sad. I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna be y'all common sense. I'm gonna be common sense. I'm gonna represent common sense on this show.
I'm just saying, we're talking numbers here. We're talking numbers and statistics, bro. That's just how we act. That's where we at right now.
Now let me ask you, the probability that, we're talking numbers and statistics, probability is also a part of mathematics, isn't it? So since we're talking numbers and statistics, do you think it's probable that he would do that this season?
We don't know yet because we haven't seen Brady.
I asked you a question. Don't say we don't know. I asked the question.
Belichick and the Patriots front line. So, with that said, probability might be high. You never know.
Do you think that the New England Patriots or the Saints who won this week or Arizona who won, if they keep pace, they'll go 16-0? Do y'all know how y'all sound right now? Y'all think the Saints, the Cardinals, and all of those teams go undefeated because they won the first game of the year?
All right, here you go.
Talk to me.
This is why I call it the encyclopedia. The Bucs averaged 3.3 yards a rush today.
Come on.
Any offense that needs the passing game in order to be successful needs the run game to average at least 4.5 yards a carry. You mean to tell me that you had a running back that was top 3 in scrimmage yards last season, which is Leonard Fournette? You got one of the best pass catching backs in the NFL in LaShawn McCoy, and you got a kid from UCLA that played under Chip Kelly's offense, so he understands lightning in a bottle philosophies. You got these 3 backs, and all they can get is 3.3 yards a carry. 86 yards on 26 carries. That's what the Bucs average. And you tell me if they come out and they put up that same kind of putrid running of the football with that whack offensive line, Brady's not going to be throwing for 30 picks. Listen, we can revisit this week 6, week 7. I'm not going to say anything right now. All I'm saying is
I advise you not to. Good job.
All I'm saying is the last game your golden boy had as a Patriot, his last pass as a Patriot was a pick 6. He looked exactly like that today when he threw that pick 6 to Jackrabbit. What you have to realize is the Saints defense right now, Lattimore can run around and Lattimore can guard the number 1 receiver. You've got Jackrabbit, who's a really solid corner. He can gamble now because he's got Malcolm Jenkins behind him. And Lattimore's got Marcus Williams. Yes, Marcus Williams makes bonehead plays, but in the same breath, he makes phenomenal plays. I think the kid has all pro potential. He's just got he's got a mental problem. He's got to figure it out. He has the size, he's got the length, he got the athleticism. He just needs to understand being in the right space and trusting what he needs to do in the defense. I think bringing back in Malcolm Jenkins is going to be huge for his development. I think this kid's going to be phenomenal. That solid 4-back defense, bringing in Patrick Robinson to run a slot, bringing in the kid from Florida, number 22, I forgot his name, Johnson, bringing in the other slot corner, Johnson. We've got solid defenders to match what we have in the front 7. We're going to give them problems. We go back to Tampa, I don't see an issue. We're going to beat the hell out of the Falcons. Don't see an issue. The Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater, all he really wants to do is clock manage. You can't clock manage against the Saints because we're a space and pace team. Space and pace teams, we beat them to the point of attack. We force a punt. You try to run a clock management game, have to punt twice. We score, we're up 14 or maybe 10-0. What are you going to do then? You know, we've got what we need to put people in the hole because we've got continuity. And then also congratulations to DeMario Davis, well-deserved, signed a 3-year contract for $27 million. We're paying the right people. That's what it's all about. We're paying the right people.
Hey, look, you guys said something earlier in the show that I think is fair for all the other teams in the league, right? And that is it's week 1. We don't want to rush to, crazy conclusions. There was not a preseason this year. You have a team that has continuity that was on a doorstep and should have went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. You had a team that had a letdown in the dome last year against the Vikings, but, they probably should have played at least in the NFC title game last year.
That was offensive pass interference, but continue.
Okay. But the Saints are supposed to be where they are. They're a team that'll have an advantage right now, right? And the Saints are not, they won't be judged with what they do in week 1. See, that's why I'm going to bring common sense to this thing. They're going to be judged with what they do in January. That's what we're looking forward to seeing from the Saints this year. We're looking for the Saints to finish. And for me, what I actually enjoyed, the high point of today, was them finishing. They actually finished today. And I want to see them continue to do that because the year that we won the Super Bowl, and I know that was 2009, there was a killer instinct. They finished. They finished games. They finished opponents. Brady, we're talking about Brady, came to the Superdome as a member of the Patriots, Monday Night Football, and they embarrassed the Patriots' ass on television. They said, we're going to make a statement, and they did it. They did it. And so for me, it's a long season. I'm a seasoned Saints fan. I'm a seasoned NFL watcher where I watch these games and I say, okay, who's going to be the teams that have the potential to do something later on in the season as the season gets a little bit more depth? Who's in the best position to navigate themselves through injuries? We saw last year, we lost Drew Brees, in week 2? Teddy Bridgewater came in and sustained the season, was able to get us the division win, okay? A lot of people didn't think that was possible. It's a long season. I am allowing the Saints the ability to get better because I would dare tell you that if they had to grade themselves, that they're probably in the space that I'm at, and they understand that they have room for improvement, even with those turnovers that they got today, even with them doing well against the run. The Saints have done well against the run the past few years. They've done very well, right? And so, again, we will see. I saw some familiar things that come playoff time, when the field gets a little tighter, the Saints offense went to sleep in the second half. They came out and, they moved the ball, got a first down, but then boom, and out. And here comes Tom Brady. He puts up 7. Okay, that's great. We know he's the GOAT. He's coming from a different place, different situation. We'll see how that all turns out. But there'll be teams that have continuity, that they're going to have that rhythm, and they're going to be ready to roll. And again, this is not me talking against. I think the Saints are a double-digit win team this year. I think the Saints should win the division this year. I would pick the Saints to win the division. I see the Saints, and Drew Brees said it himself, Super Bowl or bust. That's the position the Saints are in this year. So they won the game. Good win. We'll see going forward. We'll see. Tom Brady got 6 of them things. We got 1. I want to get another. We should have at least 2 or 3 more.
Tom Brady.
I want another.
We're not gonna start with the Jeffrey for Tom Brady, but while
I just said a fact. You say name facts, right? Facts is a fact.
While we are on the quarterback topic, back to the comments, Chuck has jumped in and said that the Saints need to bring in Jameis Winston for future games. Now, Jameis Winston, 33 touchdowns, a little bit over 5,000 yards last year, but also 30 interceptions. And we've also talked about how trash the Buccaneers offensive line is, and we know that ours is better. Do you guys see any potential there for us to grow Jameis Winston the way that we did a Teddy Bridgewater?
Big dog, have at it.
No.
Said that quick.
I don't say that. I don't say that to be offensive to Jameis. Right now, we're trying to win. We're trying to win. And I think the best way to develop a quarterback in that situation is actually to do the same thing the Bucs are doing with Josh Rosen. And that's for him just to be involved and be in the environment. It's not taking the reps. When it's time for you to take the reps and you to be involved in competition, that's different. But I think the lack of a preseason, honestly, is what's hurt people like Jameis Winston, what's hurt people like Emmanuel Sanders coming in to learn a new offense. What actually affected negatively with Nick Foles in Chicago and how he lost, still trying to figure that out, how he lost the starting job to money-making Mitch Trubisky. You've got guys that are coming in and trying to win jobs, and they don't have that preseason to take those game reps against other competition to win those jobs. We got a tough schedule. We got the Chiefs in December. We got the Eagles in December. We've got the Broncos in December who are up and coming. We've got the 49ers in November. We got before the 49er game, we got to go to Tampa. And before the Tampa game, we got to go to Chicago. We've got the Chargers. We got the Packers this year. We got the Raiders next week.
Mm-hmm.
We got a tough schedule ahead. We've got a lot of road games. Raiders game's a road game. The Bears game's a road game. The Bucs game's a road game. We've got to go to Denver. We've got to go to Atlanta. We've got to go to Philly. Granted, we've got the Vikings coming in town, but we've got a strong schedule with a lot of teams that made the playoffs last year, and we've got to make statements in all of those games. We don't have room to groom for the future. Now, if we're 12-4 or we're 11-5, 12-3, and we're playing the Panthers on the 3rd of January, and you want to see what we got with Jameis Winston, by all means, let him carve them up. But if we're fighting for position in the playoffs, we don't have time to play around with Jameis Winston. I like the kid. I like the kid's intangibles. I like what he has. He was the last quarterback at Florida State to actually win a football game. So if that means something, that means a lot. He's got what it takes. Look past the 30 picks. I'm always going to look past the 30 picks. People throw picks. He threw 30 touchdowns, which led the NFL. He threw for 5,000 yards, which led the NFL. Sorry, he had the other category that led the NFL was interceptions. Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield both threw over 23 picks last year. Nobody's screaming about them, but they're screaming about Jameis throwing 30. Yes, he threw 7 more picks than them, but on the flip side, he threw for way more yards. He actually still completed over 65% of his passes. He threw 30 touchdowns. The kid has upside. He's got potential. LASIK, I'm hoping that's the only issue that he needs to adjust. Now he's working with Sean Payton, and he's working in that quarterback room. I think he'll be fine. I don't think we have an issue. But he's got to learn from sitting the bench.
But is he next up?
Yeah, I think so. I think we dropped the ball by letting Bridgewater walk. I think I actually would have preferred Bridgewater to succeed Drew Brees. But honestly, with everything that Bridgewater's been through coming back from his injury, basically sitting the bench the last 3 years, 2 years in New Orleans, year in New York. It was time. Sucked to see him go. Sad he went to a division rival. So when we give him this L twice in a year, it's gonna be well deserved. But I'm glad my man got his money. I hope he can can prove himself and be successful. Not against the Saints, but I hope he can be successful and take advantage of this new era that we got ushered in right now. The one thing that I do want to throw out there before we even move on to it, you have to look at it right now. 3 of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL, they all had the same melanin as we do.
Mm.
And Teddy Bridgewater was on pace to be one of those greats. Yes. So I want him to get back to that. I want to see him there. I even want the mid-tiers to be that way. I want it to be where scouts are going to Jackson State and looking at these quarterbacks and saying, you know what, I'm going to take a look at this guy because he's got an arm, he's got intangibles. Not just because, maybe black quarterbacks can't run or lead a team. We're watching it right now. Dak Prescott, first game of the season, Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson highlighted 2 black quarterbacks because they were two top 15 picks in the NFL draft about 4 years ago. And now they're MVPs signing huge contracts. The 2 largest quarterback salary contracts in the NFL were played on Thursday. Yep. They both hit the field on Thursday. It's a beautiful thing. We're in a new era right now. I hope Teddy Bridgewater gets there. I hope Jameis gets there. I hope Cam gets back there. But for Jameis' sake, Jameis has to learn and take in as much of the opportunity that he has. It's the best on-the-job training that he's going to get. It's the best internship in America. You get paid $1 million to learn from a Hall of Fame quarterback and one of the best offensive minds in football.
Word. But do you see him jumping over Taysom in the line for if this is Breeze's last year, and that Sean Payton has been adamant about just sustaining that Taysom is his number 2. That's his number 2. That's who, even though he fits better in other positions, that's his number 2. Do you see when jumping over Taysom in that line?
Jay, do me a favor. Name me 3 of your favorite high school quarterbacks from when we were in school. Off the top of your head.
Okay. Herbert Tyler.
3. Who?
Herbert Tyler.
Okay.
Wow, this is gonna be all West Bank quarterbacks. Herbert Tyler, Patrick Surtain, okay. And Cordell Stewart.
Okay, and all 3.
Here, y'all, but that's my 3.
And all 3 right now could beat Taysom Hill for the starting spot as the Saints quarterback. The dude ain't quarterback. He's not a quarterback.
I don't even think Jay heard that. I don't think Jay heard that.
Say it again, Big Dog. Say it again.
Say it again. All 3 of those guys that you just named should be able to beat Taysom Hill for that spot. He ain't a quarterback. He's not a quarterback. Listen, he didn't get picked up in New Orleans to be a quarterback. Sean Payton saw 4.4 speed, 6'3", 235-pound body, looked at his numbers at BYU, saw marginal quarterback, exceptional athlete. How can I use this guy? Great. I don't have a space and pace guy. I'm going to use him. Come on, man. We're not about to invest all this money for a guy to all of a sudden just start taking snaps when the first 3 years he was with us, he was on a punt team. He was on kickoff return. He was a running back, a quarterback, a wide receiver. Hell, he was that one kid that you saw in Moss Point, Mississippi, when you went to go play and you're like, oh, wow, this guy's amazing because he's the only athlete in town. No, Taysom Hill is not the future. We need somebody who's been groomed from high school, college, all the way up. Not a gadget guy. The stuff that we do with him is very cute. It's funny. We throw him option passes and he throws the ball across the field to Alvin Kamara. We laughing because we ran that gimmick play and it worked because they're stupid. That's great. That's cool. It's cute. We can throw him screen passes, let him run for 2 yards because we don't want to damage Breeze or our starter. That's fine and dandy. If the Saints invest money in him to become the starter, I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to order some eggs. I'm going to get some milk. I'm going to get some orange juice. The cashier is going to tell me, how do you want this, paper or plastic? I'm going to request paper. I'm going to ask for some scissors. I'm going to cut 2 holes out and put "we're back," and I'm walking out of the store with a bag on my head. You heard it here first. If Taysom Hill's a starting quarterback next year, we going back to the trash bags, the guard paper bags. Yeah, it's gonna happen. You heard it here first.
Harsh.
10:07 Eastern, 7:07 Pacific Mountain. Yeah, you heard it here. 9:07 Eastern, 7:07 Pacific. You heard it here first. Taysom Hill starting quarterback. We going back to the bags.
I don't know if we're going back to the bags, but I do not think, and I have been saying this for years, that I do not think that Taysom Hill is our next quarterback. Jay, what do you think?
I think, this is good. Dub is coming around. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Yes, I agree with them totally. That Taysom Hill, he's a utility guy. I mean, come on, Sean Payton, if he thought he was the man, he would have played last year above Teddy. Teddy manages the game. That's what he did. He didn't lose any games, and the Saints played well enough to win the games that he played in last year as a collective team, right? So, look, he's a utility guy. He's good to have on your team to do what he does. He makes unique plays that a lot of players, giving his athletic ability, it's rare. Everybody can't do what he's doing. At least, they're not given an opportunity. Let me say that. I don't want to say they can't. Some players were not given an opportunity, Charlie Ward. And I'm not saying he could do exactly what Taysom could do, but we've had quarterbacks in the past that, the original Slash, Cordell Stewart, who I mentioned a few moments ago, who had multiple skill sets that could do a thing.
You ready for this? So
yeah.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
He's 6'2", 235. He's from Pocatello, Idaho. He played at BYU from 2012 to 2016. So if we do the math, he got to be in his late 20s, probably early 30s.
That's right.
Because he did that. He did his mission. First of all, we finna invest in a guy. Yeah, he did his mission. He did his stuff for the faith. Proud of him. He completed 58% of his passes at BYU. He threw 12 more picks than touchdowns. I am about to pay. If you give me access to the checkbook and say you got to pay somebody to run this team as a starting quarterback, I'm not paying Taysom Hill to do that. I give Taysom Hill $5-6 million to go run gadget plays, run screens, and be the gunner on a punt team. I'm not about to give this boy no money. That's a handsome dude. I let him take my daughter out because I know he's gonna be safe. And somebody get in a fight, he buff enough to beat him up. And if they need to run, he fast enough to put the girl on the back and they can take off running. Ain't nobody catching Taysom Hill, probably a bullet, but they're not catching Taysom Hill. The problem is Taysom Hill, we're gonna need that 4.3 speed because he got to catch DBs when he throws picks.
Now let me say this: when we talk about Jameis, and we're discussing, and again, we're kind of reaching into the future, and we're allowed to do that on a night where the Saints, they dominated this game for all intents and purposes, right? When you look at the score, we probably should have put 40 up on that board. They took that away from us. I don't know why. It wasn't conclusive, so the Saints that touchdown should have counted. But I digress. At the end of the day, Tom Brady would have been the quarterback of this team had not Drew Brees decided to come back. And I'll let you guys in on something. That's somebody who I know that is very, very well connected to the Saints organization that actually broke that news to me and a few other people towards the latter end of the season. And it was not speculation. She assured me that she has it on strong inside that if Brady wants to continue and Brees doesn't, that the Saints would have done that. And so when the news came out, it wasn't a shocker. If we want to speculate forward, when you look at what could happen with Jameis Winston and what salary could be available for him next season, since we're forecasting, there was a guy today that looked very, very good. And he's a former league MVP. He's a former Super Bowl champion. He's also an elder quarterback. And we'll see what happens in Green Bay. But if I'm Sean Payton, it's proven that I want to win. I want to give myself the best opportunity year in and year out to win. And so, if Green Bay is in 2 years or so willing to talk about trading Aaron Rodgers or, his contract, I'm not familiar with what his contract details are. They're not right in front of me right now. That's somebody that if I'm the Saints, you look at how the Saints are put together. And that's why I say when you kind of look at this money thing, you just got to be careful. If I can plug in an Aaron Rodgers, right? Hey, I'm going to consider that. I know that Jameis is younger, I know that Jameis has an upside that is there. I don't think Jameis has had the same support given to a Drew Brees who was able to come to New Orleans and grow as a quarterback under Sean Payton. A lot of folks don't really realize that prior to coming to New Orleans, Drew Brees had not thrown for over 4,000 yards in the season. He gets with a quarterback coach, the guy that was able to get Quincy Carter a playoff victory and rehabilitate the career of Kerry Collins. Like Sean Payton, he's a quarterback whisperer. We got a few of those guys in the league. He's one, and then Andy Reid is another there in Kansas City. But if I'm Sean Payton, he's 15 years into this thing. I think what the Saints are going to do year in and year out, I think it's smart. What gives us the best opportunity to win now? And will allow the future to deal with itself as we need it to deal with itself. And so that's why I think that they're paying people. Big Doug talked about it. I'm not saying that they're not deserving. They just want to put themselves in the best position and kind of figure themselves out through this thing as they go. And who am I to argue with the formula? Ultimately, if you're not looking at the Patriots, I think the Eagles have been a consistent organization for the last 20 years or so. There have been a few organizations that have been in the mix, right? The Baltimore Ravens have been there. I think the Saints, they come into that conversation of a team under Sean Payton the last 15 years. If you want to talk about 20 years, if you want to include the latter years of Haslett, where the Saints won a division, they won a playoff game, if that means something to you. The Saints are right there. And so I think the Saints will do what's necessary to continue to win. And so we'll kind of see how that unfolds as the season kind of progresses and as the future progresses.
Awesome. Just trying to check and see if we got any other comments that we can chime in on. We are winding down to the last 15 minutes of our show today. What I want to get from you guys, so the Raiders just came off of a win this week against the Panthers. We got them next week. Look at this one. Look at this one. We got them. How do you guys feel about next week's game? What's your predictions? Of course, I got the Saints, but
They're going to win every game, Ms. John. They're going to win every game.
Every game. Every Sunday I'm waking up like we winning.
16-0. 16-0. Perfect. Big Dog, what you got? I'm going to let you go first, Big Dog. Tell me what's going to happen next week.
Well, I know Raiders fans, so I ain't got time.
Being out in the West Coast and
thank you.
Being in the city that was awarded an NFL franchise. I said it. I'm gonna be a Raider fan because
all right.
My ties have been in Las Vegas for the last 14 and a half years. And the AFC team I'm gonna root for is gonna be the Raiders. Yeah. I didn't have an AFC team. I really didn't. I just, came to AFC football. I just rooted for players and watched the game for the love of the game. But Raiders came to Vegas. I bought a Raider hat. I didn't go far enough to buy a jersey. Bought the hat. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna root for the Raiders. We good to go. Now, fast forward a couple months later, schedule comes out. Raiders play the Saints week 2. Told all my Raider fans, y'all on y'all own. Because when the Saints come to town, this Florida League gonna be on my head. This 17 gonna be on my back, and I'm gonna be yelling "Who dat" all day long. Now, mind you, I went online and I say, "Hey, congratulations to the Raiders for doing us a favor and beating the Panthers, making sure that we're the only team that has a win in the division this week." I said, but I hope y'all know y'all gonna be 1-1 come Sunday. Oh, we're gonna beat you guys and blah 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 blah. I said, anybody confident enough they want to put bread up? Nobody's confident enough to put bread up, but they all talking to me about how they're gonna win the game. So I'm gonna say it here first. I'm probably gonna be the only person standing in front of Allegiant Stadium on Sunday after the game. I'll probably do the podcast from Allegiant Stadium in the parking lot. I'm probably gonna end up in jail. So y'all do me a favor and make sure to start a GoFundMe right now to get my bail money out. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's actually what I'm gonna do. Next week when we do the podcast, I'm gonna do the podcast from Allegiant Stadium just to make sure that I'm gonna be yelling "Who dat?" because I need to do it for my Saints people. The Raiders,
I like it.
The Raiders don't stand a snowball's chance in hell. No, they don't. They got a nice young team. But I said it early in the program. Pace and space is not something that the Raiders are looking forward to stopping right now. They did a good job of stopping a ball control team, but I don't think they have enough in their firepower in their arsenal to handle a punch to where they can counter punch what we do. And Sean Payton will scheme John Gruden to death. And I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. I think that we'll take advantage of some missed opportunities from the Raiders, and we'll win by 10 points.
I like it. Here's my answer. If they lose next week, and I know it's any given Sunday, next week's game will be on a Monday. So anytime you strap it up in the NFL, you have an opportunity to lose the game. Okay, so I get it. But with everything that we've talked about on tonight's show, the Saints better win next week. And I think that they will, because after next week, you'll be hosting Sunday Night Football against a guy I mentioned, in my last little piece, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. So you need to get this next one. It'll be important to have it. I think that 10-point spread is good. I think that's a solid spread. That's why I would open up. Between 8 and 10 points, I mean, that's good. And the Saints can beat them by 2 touchdowns, to be honest. But 10 points is safe. I like that. They should win next week and win comfortably. And then here's the deal. If they don't, it's something to panic about, at the same time. Because when you look and evaluate what's going on, it'll be really the second game against an opponent this season, right? You'd want to win it to make sure that your record is strong moving forward and just build on momentum. And so that's kind of how I'm looking at what the Saints are needing to do going forward in this chase to get number 2 for the organization. Build momentum. And so next week is another opportunity to build for momentum. You just don't want to lose the game. And so they should win next week. I agree with you, Doug. 10 points is solid. And it should set up a really interesting matchup with the Packers in 2 weeks, Sunday Night Football. So the Saints got primetime games the next 2 weeks. Monday night against the Raiders. That's a central 7:15 start here for us in New Orleans, 8:15 now. Where you at, Big Dub? Neek, what's that, 5:15 for you?
Wait, you're at 7:15? 5:15 for me.
Right, that's 5:15 for you. So, yeah, so, they should do that. I think next week's show, it'll be a late show. So just reminded everybody, we will be on after that game Monday night. We're going to be here for you to talk Saints football. And, hopefully we're talking the Saints are 2-0 and headed into a primetime matchup against the Packers, in which our mayor, and I'm going to be quiet. If y'all touch this topic, I won't say nothing. Our mayor at first said that they were going to let people come watch the game and everything. And then she came back after she had an exchange with Travis Mackle from WDSU. And now we can't go see that game in person neither. So, I ain't gonna say nothing, but we can't go to the game, right now. But yeah.
You sound like a kid telling your friend you on punishment and you can't.
I'm gonna be good.
Listen, y'all sit at home and watch the game and get the yelling and screaming. And TV gonna make sure y'all are right. She gonna make sure y'all don't get sick. So sit down at home and watch the game until like week 6. Okay, relax.
I won't get into it. I'm sitting from the peanut gallery. There's been quite a few mistakes made from that office. I think making sure that that her constituents are safe because of this pandemic and making sure that the numbers don't spike. I think watching the game from the sidelines or from your comforts or your home or with family and friends is going to be your best available option. So yell and scream from the television. Don't have to worry about spending exorbitant amounts of money at the concession stands. You got your own bottle of beer and stuff at the house. As a matter of fact, this one I'm going to be drinking on Sunday. So if we do get a sponsor, we need to get Barks Root Beer to sponsor. They need to bring bottled Barks Root Beer.
Yeah,
they bring a couple bottles of that. Yeah.
You just put that bottle down until they cut the check. You heard me?
Oh, right. Look. Until they cut the check, I'm gonna be like root beer, But seriously, all in all, just watch it from the house. Safe spot, everybody. Just stay safe. Enjoy football. Enjoy the fact that it's back. The fact that they don't have a whole bunch of COVID cases and that we're able to enjoy the game and talk about the game, even as pedestrian as both offenses were at some points of the game today.
Now, wait a minute. Before I let him move on with this is the same man that's going to be at the game, or at least the stadium next week. He's going to be outside of the stadium next week. He already said, please start a GoFundMe for his bail money because he might go to jail. He gonna be out there. He going to the stadium next week. Now, you know, if we went to the stadium here in New Orleans, we would be in trouble too, by the way. We would be in trouble if we went to the stadium here in New Orleans. But he's already told y'all he's going to the stadium next week. So I just want to put that on record. Like, we ain't heard him say that.
First of all, that was very snitchy of you. That was very snitchy.
I just got to be out with, look, they'd have heard the replay. They'd have heard the replay.
Nobody else is going to be there, so he's going to be practicing social distancing.
That's what you think? You think anybody else going to be there?
Yep.
I got you, Doug.
Yep.
Social distancing, you heard me?
Yeah.
Okay, Jay, you have never drove past that stadium. That stadium is ridiculously big. He could be on one side and more than 6 feet before anybody else can be next to him. So I support you, Doug. I might drive out and do the show with you.
Oh, damn. See, damn. These people talking about trying to look. I got common sense. It's common sense. Don't worry, we're gonna get into it. If she don't open that damn stadium up, look, I'm gonna be good. I said I wasn't gonna comment. I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna be good. But
we definitely want to support all of our fans and all of our watchers to be safe and be careful and be responsible with your health. This is a real pandemic. It is a real thing, and you guys could easily get sick. In New Orleans, I need y'all to remember New Orleans was the epicenter. We had the highest cases in the world at one point.
I'm going to get Leo and Art for you. I'm going to get people that know. I'm going to get them for you.
I will take both of them with my hand tied behind my back.
Next week, they coming. I'm going to go get them for you.
Anyway, y'all stay safe.
Next, don't ever threaten her like that. You threaten her like that, oh man.
Yeah, like he don't know who I am though.
I know, but
you can handle her own. But see, if I go get Art get that blood pressure. And y'all, I know the viewers of this show may not know Art, and he's a 49er fan. So we actually may have an opportunity, because we play the 49ers, to bring him on the show. You know, we may do that for the 49er game. He probably gonna want to take over the show, but you know, we love him. He's a good brother. I
think should have taken my amlodipine before that episode.
You know what I'm saying? What you on 5 milligrams or 10?
I'm on 10. Yeah.
All right, so here, I got a question. I know we got 6 minutes left in the show before we get out of here. I got a question I'm going to ask to both of y'all. Put your money where your damn mouth is right now. How many games the Saints going to win this season? Talk to me. Tell the people right now before the season get going, what will be the Saints record right now? Get it to them.
Ooh, wait, let me review. I'm gonna read.
Yeah, go look at the damn schedule. Go look at that schedule.
Real quick. So let me grab our schedule. So the Saints schedule for 2020, we played.
Y'all gonna be, you see the reason why we lost? We ain't had no home field advantage. We should have been in there cheering. Them other stadiums had their people all up in their stadium, and we ain't had no home field advantage. Wait till tell me the damn record. Give me the damn record right now.
So as you guys know, we played the Bucs today. We got the Raiders, then we got the Packers. We go into the Lions, then we got the Chargers, we got the Panthers and the Bears. Back to the Bucs. We got the 49ers, the Falcons, the Broncos, the Falcons again, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Vikings, and then we round out our season with the Panthers. I'm going to run through that with you one more time.
But you better tell these folks.
It's a pretty strong season. It's a strong season.
Yeah.
We got the Bucs. Then we go to the Raiders. We got the Panthers, Lions, Chargers. Uh-oh. I hit the wrong thing. Back to the Panthers. Then we got the Bears. Back to the Bucs. 49ers. Falcons. Broncos. Falcons again. Eagles. Chiefs. Vikings. Round it out. Panthers. Where y'all at with it?
Big dog, what's up, bro? They going 16-0? That's a 16-0 schedule, dog?
Man, I'm looking at it now.
All right.
We'll be 2-0. We'll be 2-0 by the Raider game, by the Packer game. Packer game's a toss up, so I just say 2-1. I say
all right, that bad man coming here. Okay, keep going.
I say 2-1 because we do that from time to time. We be on a roll,
and then boom,
and then we give one up. There's no way in hell we losing to Adrian Peterson. So we'll be 3-1, 4-1 against the Chargers, 5-1 against the Packers. We're not losing to Trubisky. and we're not letting Jimmy Graham beat us. So 6-1. We're not losing to the Bucs, 7-1. We'll probably lose that Niner game because, like I said, we do dumb stuff. So that's 6-2, 7-2 against the Falcons, 8-2 against the Broncos, 9-2 against the Falcons, 10-2. We ain't losing to Philly. Malcolm Jenkins making sure we ain't losing to Philly. We'll probably lose to the Chiefs. So I'll say 10-3. We not losing to the Vikings. That's 12-3. So we'll be 13-3. 13-3 for third season in a row.
Okay. I like it. That's kind of where I was going. I see 13-3, 12-4 as a reasonable reality.
Yeah, 12-4 at worst, 13-3 at best.
I'm on the fence between 13-3 and 12-4 just because I got two variables in there. One, I'm not sure that Brady's gonna let us sweep him.
Man, tell these people.
That's just I think that's just a pride thing, and I just don't think that he's going to allow us to sweep him, especially because this was his first appearance outside of the Patriots, and he's being judged on that. That's just that. Then I also have, we go through this where we just struggle with the Falcons one game out of the season.
Man, you connected. That's a good day. You connected.
So those are my two variables, but I was aligned with you on everything else. But so I think we're gonna win about 12 games this year.
Bro, we're not losing to Atlanta. We're not losing to Tampa again.
Every year we top one.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel that. Look here, we're not losing to Atlanta. Look, it's coming out. The professional me is gone. We got 2 minutes left. You about to get this version of me. Look here, we're not losing to Atlanta. We ain't losing to Tampa again.
Okay.
We're gonna sweep them, and if we lose the Teddy 2 gloves,
so
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You saying we're gonna sweep everybody?
You heard me?
All right, I fuck with that. I mean, I'm with you on that. But I'm just speaking from historic data and the knowledge that I have of who Tom Brady really is, because we're not gonna deduct Tom Brady's great.
I give you one. I will give you one.
Which one?
We'll go 12-4.
Okay.
12-6. We play the 12-6. I'm sorry, 11-22 play the Falcons at home. That's after the 49ers. We beat the 49ers, we lose to the Falcons at home. We'll go 12-4.
Okay.
I give you that one. Because what's gonna happen is we're gonna lose to the Falcons. Everybody gonna be all up in arms. We're gonna be on the show talking about, man, what the hell happened? Then 2 weeks later, just like we did last season, we're gonna go to Atlanta, we're gonna beat the brakes off of them, and everything gonna be back all right.
And that's historic right there. That's based on data. That's all I'm saying. That was my point.
True.
All right, where you at, Jay?
All right. 12-4, 11-5, 13-3 is where we at. I'm in that range. Okay. I'm nervous that if you do sweep Atlanta, you got to go to the Eagles. And 12-13, I don't know where we'll be. With this pandemic, will they allow fans in the stadiums? Will it be cold? More than likely, yes, it will be. Then you got the Chiefs and you got the Vikings. That's a stretch like that. That's a stretch, Falcons, Eagles, Chiefs, Vikings, like that. And then if you really take it back a little bit, you got the 49ers, you got the schedule is a beast. It's a beast. And that's why I say, we need to, let's give them room. Let's give them room. Let's see what we got. Let's see how we adjust to inevitably someone's going to go down and we don't want to go down. And we'll have to have somebody else step up. Okay. I'm going to go 11-5. I'm going to go 11-5 because I'm going to honor the schedule. I think it's not a bad loss if you lose to Green Bay. If you lose to Tampa on 11-8, okay. The Bucs had a chance to put New Orleans native Leonard Fournette. We ain't going to just clown Leonard. Like, I know we mentioned him, but, Leonard just got there this week. He just got signed. So what could you expect from a guy that you just picked up literally a few days ago, right? So Leonard Fournette should be in the fold a lot more. It is Tom Brady. It is, the ability for him to kind of get used to his teammates and get accustomed to those guys. By that time, we should know what we got. So, okay. Could you lose to Green Bay? Yes. Could you lose to Tampa? Yes. If you lose to Tampa, if you beat Tampa, could you lose to the 49ers? Yes. Could you lose to the Eagles? That's not a bad loss. On the road, is it a bad loss to lose to the Chiefs? No. Christmas Day.
They just lost to the. They just lost to the football team.
I got you. 5 days.
Anybody that lose to a team with no.
But Dub, listen, I got in normal seasons, I'm with you. In normal seasons, I'm with you. But because of
the Philly, bro.
The preseason, feel me.
And you homing for Brady. You homing for Brady. It's a Saints story. You homing for Brady.
I'm being respectful. You being disrespectful.
You homing for Brady.
I'm being respectful. Let me finish. Okay. 5 days after playing the Chiefs, Christmas Day. So you got to look at the schedule and kind of look at how it hits. Christmas Day, 5 days later, you got the Vikings. So, is it a bad season to go 11-5? It's not a bad season. You know what I'm saying? So I got the Saints. I'm gonna stay safe. I'm gonna stay safe with 11-5. That's what I'm gonna roll with.
So we got you down. We got 11-5 for Jay. We got 12-4 for Neek and Doug. That's where we at, right?
So we putting a wager on this.
We can. I don't have a problem with that. I prefer to lose. I prefer the Saints to go 14-2. I prefer that. I don't know.
11-5.
I'm just being honest. It's just one more game for 12-4.
I'm not mad at the 11-5, but I just can't get with the Vikings though. Like that's who you go.
Listen. Can I tell y'all something? I was in that dome last year.
Nothing else you gotta say at the same
time. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you talking about me being a homer. That's reverse psychology, my friend. It doesn't work very well with someone like me. Let me explain something to you. The Saints should not have lost in the wild card round against the Vikings a few months ago, Big Dub. That shouldn't have happened. Damn, Big Dub. Don't be that disrespectful. If you had asked me last year, should the Saints be making plans for the divisional round? I'd have told you, you're damn right. I had plans, Big Dub. I was at the playoff game, watching the damn game. I was shocked and offended that we lost that game at home against the Vikings, Big Dub. So I understand what you're saying. I get it. But if you think that they can lose to the Falcons, who did not make the playoffs last year, for them to have the opportunity to lose to the Vikings, I'll be damn. I know y'all want to make this ESPN or Fox, and we got to be Skip and we got to be Stephen A. But damn, reach a little better than that. Good night.
I'll scream at you next week.
You better damn do that next week.
Nonsense and all of this chaos. Y'all come back and join us. We will be here every week after every Saints game. This is your girl, Miss Neek. That is your boy, J.R. Lee. Big Dub is down at the bottom, and we are here for you. So make sure you share and you tell all your friends to come and join us. We will get all of this kind of worked out. I know we were over on Spreaker, but we'll get that kind of worked out. And we will definitely be sure to share this to our Facebook pages, our Twitter pages. So make sure you guys follow up. This is your girl, Miss Neek. This has been the 5th quarter, and we'll see y'all next week.
Y'all be good.
Till next time.